Hey everyone, and welcome to Black Soy Network Sunday Service Live, where today we sewing something. We will be making my Nomi pattern. This is Nomi 2153, and we'll be making the pants. So we'll be making UB. What's great about these pants is that it is a Gurkha style waist trouser. So basically, Gurkha style trousers were started. You started to really see them with the Australian and like some of the Asian militaries. It's a utilitarian style belting. So it is a waistband that does not require extra belts because basically it is adjustable. So there's a belt loop so that the waistbands can kind of overlap, and then that they're fastened on the sides, taking it in as you need to. I prefer them. I think that it's just a nice feature that you don't always see in modern men's clothing. Usually they are a bit higher waisted and sit on your waist really nicely. I am making mines out of and so I can also make sure I can see the chat. Hey y'all, welcome to Black Soy Network Sunday Service Live. This is what I'm using. So I'm using a 10-ounce denim blue jean. So I thought, it would be nice to kind of bring in a casual fabric on a more of a structured garment, so like a tailored garment. But this is also part of my sewing style challenge with Black Sewing Network. So Carmen and Lisa and Sean and Miss Carol and Tanisha and Kate Charles and I think Renee's in it, like a whole bunch of people in it. This is what I am currently working on making mines out of. So this is my second piece. Have you seen two pieces out of anybody else yet? Y'all seen my first one? My first one was the hat. I ain't seen their pieces. Have y'all seen their pieces? I ain't seen their pieces. No, I'm playing. Again, this is all in fun. This is a way for us to not to celebrate each other and stuff like that. And this is really more about bragging rights and showing what we're capable of as sewists with all different forms of creativity and stuff like that. Um, and it really is just about bragging rights. It ain't about winning anything. But we are trying to highlight Black designers as well, or Black visibility. So for the hat and the jacket, I'm not using a Black designer, but I am using Black fabric or Black visibility in fabric. So that's something that I decided to put in there for myself. But the pants and stuff like that are mine because, especially for indie designers, there's not a lot of Black male designers. I do use mostly predominantly male patterns just for ease. But patterns are not gendered once it's in your hands. So let's remember that. Basically, once you have a pattern, it is yours. You are the designer. So if you say that a dress pattern that was designed by somebody else is now a tube top, it's a tube top because it's in your hands. Once you make it, it's what you say it is. So I'm just saying. So just for everybody to know, hey y'all, I'm on, Jesus. So I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, and then I also have a TikTok live going on as well. So we are all in this together. Woo! So yeah, let's get started. So I have kind of been on TikTok for a little bit, and yep, I've been on TikTok for at least about an hour, as I just got the puzzle piece. So I have been doing a lot of my prep work because I know that pants take a little bit of time. So, and we try to be here for a good time, not a long time. But with that, so I have gone ahead and did some prep work. So let me show you what I've already done. So to start with, I've gone ahead and basted in the pleats along my front edge. So these are, each side has two pleats that you just baste at the top edge. When it comes down to it, I can go ahead and be like old school, be a pimp daddy, and go ahead and put pleats all the way through if I want to. If I want to, we're going to see. So we've already done that on both of my fronts with a good iron and press. And y'all can see, like, look, we know how to get a good press. So that's done on the fronts. Then for my backs, I've gone ahead and done my darts. And then I also went ahead and I will put it down to this camera so that y'all can see. So I've already kind of done some thread tracing for where my pocket is going to be. So I went ahead and marked it on the back, but that is for my welt pockets. And we've gone ahead and done that to both sides. What I've also gone ahead and done is my pockets. So I've gone ahead and done worked on my pocket bags. So this is the facing for my pocket and the interfacing for it already sewn onto my pocket bags. And because this is also part of the sewing machine challenge, we are only using one machine today. So while my serger is back here saying hi to y'all, it ain't getting used. So everything will be on this machine here. I'm using, it is a Morse Photomatic 3 or Morse 4300. It is a machine from the 60s, 50, 60, 70, somewhere around that time. And it is a zigzag straight stitch, but it has a beautiful buttonhole. So this is the machine that I'm using today. And for those who are just coming in, I know somebody asked over on TikTok, so this is the pattern that I'm using today, 2153. There we go, 2153. All right, so that means that, as you can see here, everything has been kind of worked on and serged in place. Or not serged, but zigzagged in place. So even along these edges, so all this finishing, nothing is going to look super crazy when I wash it. And the fabric has been pre-washed. So pockets are done. We've also gone ahead and worked on our zipper piece. So that's done and sewn together. And then for like single layer pieces, I've gone ahead and did a little bit of like a Hong Kong finish on that one, just to make it easy. All right. Also went ahead and sewed together my welts. And what else? We're going to work on finishing up the back pockets so that we can start on those welt pockets. I guess now we can start there. Now, no, am I following the directions to a T? No. Do I ever follow the directions to a T? No. So even if you were to see me make this in a sew-along, usually my directions diverge. And most of the designers, our directions diverge a little bit. So we're giving you that disclaimer. But feel free, like if you were ever deciding to make one of our patterns or something like that, we are all very accessible and we want y'all to succeed. So feel free to ask us questions as you need to. Oh, and somebody asked about the hat. So yeah, the hat was really fun to make. And it was really simple. So I made that on live as well on was that Wednesday? So I made the hat on Wednesday on live, and it was maybe around a 2-hour project, very simple. Okay, so one of the things I have to do now is I'm going to start working on, this was one of the last pieces I need to prep, which is for my welt pocket. So this is the back facing of the pocket. So basically, when you have the pocket, when you look on the inside, this is what you will see. So, and somebody asked, the pattern designers don't write the instructions. No, we do not. So no. So usually the process is the instructions. So we provide a design to the company. The company then we basically send the drawing, our inspiration. They end up making the pattern and the initial technical drawing, and they do that part. They send it back to us, and we make they do the initial muslin. We do the final for the photography and stuff like that with bare bones instructions. But they don't usually for instructions. They are using like a library of instructions that they already have the wording as well as the illustrations for. With the big 4 patterns, with indie patterns, that is different. With indie patterns, normally we'll do that together. So Carmen asks, how easy is the best on this pattern? The vest is very easy. The vest is very easy because it is it's probably one of the easier vests that you can make. It has like princess lines. It's real simple. Real simple. Um, and honestly, and this is I will tell y'all. So it does have pockets on it. So it does have well pockets. On my pattern, the well pockets are fake. I ain't have time. So yeah, the especially yeah no, I think all of the well pockets on this one are fake. I just sold on the welts. So if you decide to do it that way, it's real simple. You can get it done like that. Just saying. All right. Now, um, what I'm going to go ahead and do is take my back pocket facing piece and we're going to sew it onto our pocket, following the placement lines that are on the pattern piece itself. And because I'm using two different fabrics and stuff like that, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to zigzag this. Um, Zigzagging it, think of it as like I'm applying this piece down to the fabric, and I'm also basically just going ahead and making sure that there's not going to be any type of craziness when it's time to wash it. So but we got a thread here, so we're going to rethread this real fast. And by the time that this machine came out, most sewing machines were all threaded very similarly. There are some vintage machines that you do have to be aware of. The needle is a different orientation. So instead of the needle kind of going this way to you, the needle usually is you have to thread it from the outside to the inside. And then there were some machines that you would have to go from the inside to the outside. And it will be the hole itself would be kind of facing this way. So something to think about. But yeah, no, this is a really the vest is a really simple pattern. And is I think you get a nice amount of impact. And with the especially for a body that has bust protection, the princess lines allow for a lot of adjustments as needed. Okay. All right. So we're going to start by, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn down my seam. So what's interesting about this vintage machine is that it does not have like normally you'll go like, oh, I want to do it at a 2.5 or something millimeter stitch length. This does not have that. This is measured by stitches per inch. Okay. So I can go all the way up to around 30, 40 stitches per inch. Currently, I am going to do around a little bit less, probably closer to about 20 stitches per inch. We're literally just making sure that we are going towards the end, bringing it up, keep on going all the way down. Just turning it, keep on going. All right. Hey, hey, how you doing, man? But Carmen, also, if you want to find a vest pattern to do, you can also do, skirt pat that vest with those shorts. That is also a very easy vest that you could do as well. Well, good. I'm glad you're doing all right. Okay, so we have our piece all on there. And again, you can't beat a beautiful looking back, like where the back of the fabric looks just as good. You know, you got a good, nice, balanced, even stitch. And which is sometimes not something that you always see, especially on a zigzag. So we did our one pocket. Let's go ahead and do the other one. And thank y'all so much for joining me on live today. Feel free to like and share the live. Be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. All right. So we're going to do the other side as well. I love when the I guess my other face said, "We're done. We're tired. We don't want to be here." There it is. But yes, I don't know what just happened, but it did for a second on my other. What number? What number on your machine did you put the zigzag? So I'm doing a Y zigzag. So on this machine itself, this is a number 5 with zigzag, which is more of a long stitch length than a what I would call a Y zigzag. But it is the largest setting for the zigzag itself. And then I'm doing it at a 20-inch stitch length. So this is just really to show folks that, you know, literally, again, you are the magic. You don't need the most expensive machine. Um, you don't need a whole bunch of stitches if you don't want to. And then what I am going to do is, yeah, this needle is feeling dull to me. I can hear it. So we are going to change our needle in a second. Let me finish this up real quick. And I will change out my needle real fast. Did you get one of these at Goodwill, or did you get like another type of vintage machine? Okay, well, thank you, Carmen. I appreciate it. But yeah, the pattern is easy. The pattern is easy. So if you bought a stick, so definitely check out how big your zigzag and stuff goes. And normally you don't need the largest zigzag. It depends on what you're trying to use your zigzag for. Again, mine is for like finishing off the fabric as well as basically applying it down to the base layer. So mine is I don't mind going with a larger zigzag um, because I of what is purpose. Now, if you were trying to like sew a like use it to sew a knit or something like that, I would do it at like maybe a 2 or a 3 zigzag, um, and just do a longer stitch length. So instead of at like a 20-inch or 20 stitches per inch, I would do maybe like an 8 or 10 with a like just a minimum zigzag. So basically, it will still get a nice. You'll get a little bit of tug, but not too much. You know. All right. So we got our pocket pieces done. So let's go ahead and finish up the fronts. Because once the fronts are good, I can put those aside, do the back welts, and then we can start. I'm working on a pair of pants. I am making. Where's the pattern? Jesus. I'm making a pattern that I just had. Here it is. So this is what I'm making today for people who are just joining. So this is 2153. I'm doing UB, which are the pants, which have a Gurkha style waistband. All right. So let's go ahead and front, backs, and go over here. There we go. Okay. So now pocket pieces. We're going to take one of our pocket pieces. Make sure I got this right. Okay. Yep. Cool. So, and this is going to be sewn at 5/8 of an inch. So, again, I keep a seam guide near me, especially on these type of machines, and I'm using a magnetic seam guide. I think I got this one off of Temu. The reason is because this plate does not have any other measurements on it. So I basically need to make sure that I have that all in place. Already. So, yeah, that's right. Cool. All right. So now, what we're going to start with is I'm going to start by sewing my my pocket to my pocket to the pants at the edge, like the pocket facing with notches matching, 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then we will understitch it in place. And I want to make sure I do this right. All right. So we have one of our pocket sides already in place. Now what we're going to do is I am going to open this up. We're going to just move our seam guide out the way. And then we're going to understitch this with the seam allowances going towards the pocket facing itself. You don't have to change the seam allowance or anything like that. Definitely on all platforms. There are people. How old is my oldest sewing machine? I want to say it's 1860s. It's my oldest. It's one of my Wilcox and Gibbs sewing machines. So it's basically the old school version of the machine that Sean is using in her project. But yeah, if you are seeing people, there are sewists and stuff like that throughout the community. Make sure that you are following other sewists and stuff like that who are in all the comments. This is how we stand for each other, how we hold each other accountable. So make sure that you're following each other. And usually, let's not be a stranger. Let's remember that we know how to use interpersonal skills and chat and say hey to people. Hey, Risha, how are you? Oh, my scissors. There we go. So we have gone ahead and did a line of understitching. What I want to go ahead and do is let me find my scissors again. The scissors I want to use. And we're going to, again, because this is denim, so having like 2 layers of denim like that would just be a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this down a bit. Hey, Sewing Sustainably, how are you? Hello, Gen XY, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in. So yeah, okay. So we went ahead and cut down some of that seam allowance, and we're going to go ahead and give this a press, and then we have kind of like our pocket in place. And to help y'all over here, we're going to turn this way a little bit. And the people on TikTok, y'all can hear me. Y'all been following me all afternoon. So I'm just at my iron real quick. Um, and I have and I've switched back to using my North Star iron today. So what you're hearing is the ironing board and everything like that. Hey Cynthia, how are you? Um, so somebody asked, um, everything is charging. Um, this pants pattern. Did somebody ask what pants I was using? What am I making? Yeah. So I am making this pattern today. For those who are wanting to know what we're working on, we were working on this. And we're making the pants. Today, we are good today. We got a voice today because most of the week I didn't. So, and we are drinking coffee. So, if I seem a little buzz, just just me high on caffeine. I do love a good coffee. Coffee is my life force. I don't know about y'all. For those who can raw dog life without it, I don't even know if I want y'all to teach me how to do it. I don't care that bad. All right. Check. So this is what the pants are going to look like now that we're all in place and pressed. So now what I need to go ahead and do on this one pocket, we can go ahead and so we're going to go ahead, now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and finish the rest of the pocket real quick. So the chair that I'm using, somebody asked about the chair. So my chair actually is from Temu. So this is a desk chair from Temu that I've had for going on about a year. It also has it's vibrating, so I can make the chair vibrate and stuff like that. I don't usually use it for that, but it can. So I love it though. I don't have no qualms with my chair. All right. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and sew our pocket in place. Now, here's the thing. What I could do, there are two ways that I can do this pocket. So I could do this pocket French seam it, meaning that I can, like I've already gone ahead and folded it in place this way. What I could do is go ahead and fold it this way and do my first line of stitching and then fold it back out and do a line of stitching that way. Um, you won't get no work done? Look. Um, but what I think I am going to do is I'm just going to do we keeping it simple. Especially I'm thinking for you can still have a nice finish, but also thinking of beginners. So we're just going to do a simple zigzag along the edge of the pocket. But first we're going to start with a regular straight stitch. Now, what I will tell you, When I'm making my pockets, sometimes I like my pockets a little deeper. So do I always follow the seam allowances that they tell you to do? Usually no. So instead of a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, I'm using closer to a 3/8 of an inch. And because of like the way a pocket and stuff works, and like pushing and stuff like that, I use a little bit of a smaller seam allowance. Um, so yeah, I'm using 15 stitches per inch for this one. Now, if we were not in this challenge, how would I normally do this? Um, this would have already been surged. You don't like to feel the French seam inside. So Reisner over on TikTok says she doesn't like to feel that piece on the inside, which is understandable because it does add bulk. I thought about binding them. Technically, I could rainbow bind them real fast. And that would be clean. That would be the cleanest way to do it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Y'all have so this is a vintage Morse machine. Um, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and do a lot of binding on the inside. It will make it cleaner. Um, and like so zigzag is an option, but we're gonna bind it. Because that just that makes my heart feel better. The idea of binding it. Just bitch. There we go. There we go. So we are going to go ahead um, and bind it. Now, again, am I doing this like this is a already like pre-made? This is a pre-made. We are being stuck somewhere. Oh, that's why I'm like, what is stuck and why? You get stuck around the actual cursor foot. So we're just gonna start that again. Actually, we are going to do a longer stitch length. That will make this easier too. Um, y'all know I be keeping stuff around, at arm's length, and you just never know when you need some binding. So yeah, I always keep some rainbow binding at hand. Because you just never know when you're gonna need a little rainbow in your life. Again, so the proper way to do this would be to sew it on one side and then top stitch it on the other. Um, is that my preferred way to do it? No. So I am doing it the way I sometimes like to do it, which is just by using it as a double fold and just top stitching it down. Because again, this is on the inside, and if the tour garments on the inside can be a little squiff, I ain't pressing it. And people spend $50-11 million for that. I can provide myself grace in how I do this binding. That's how I feel about it. Just make sure we are catching the backside too. And if you want to see how like my hands and stuff are moving, feel free to go and check me out over on YouTube or Twitch, because that's where I'm also doing this as well. For the people on TikTok who cannot see the sewing machine the same way. You just see my head talking and hear the machine in the background. But something I tell you, that's the great thing about especially a lot of your it does make for wonderful ASMR. because it has the whirling sound of the hum of the machine and stuff like that. It's just so nice. You know? Okay. Well, I'm glad you were inspired to start sewing. You know, you have a whole community of here of sewers and stuff like that. So if you got questions and stuff along your journey, let us know. All right. So just like that, we have a rainbow bound pocket. Okay. So that means that one pocket side is done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to base this along the top edge and along top and bottom edge. And then we will continue on to the other side. It's funny that y'all love that y'all liking this music. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but normally, like I like I like something a little bit more. But my so single fold pre-made by has a narrower folded edge and a wider folded edge. The French seaming of a pocket is used more in men's tailoring slacks. It is so, and which is very true. This is not so. This is a very quick and easy double fold, ultra wide double fold that is rainbow that it literally I just had right here. I also do have some single fold that does have that wider and that narrower edge, and which I kind of did more of a traditional seam method over on this piece. Um, but again, and French simming and stuff like that, we've done all of that. But also sometimes you just gotta make. So with that, this is a do as I say, not as I do type of moment. And now as I am going ahead and basting over the top edge here, making sure I take my time. Um, so one of the things like with vintage machines, you are um, um, you don't have some of the modern conveniences such as a little bit of give in the foot unless you have a modern like press release and stuff like that and a modern snap-on presser foot. So having things such as a hump jumper and stuff like that at hand, like close by, does make this process easier. If you don't have a hump jumper or anything like that to help get over some of your differentiating seams and stuff like that, I also like to keep packs of needles. These packs of needles does make it easier for you to get over some of those edges. You can put it at the back of your foot just to make sure everything is even as you're going over some of your thicker fabrics. Hey Shamir, how are you? All right, so we did one side pocket. So one side is done. And then even this like the front pleat and stuff like that, I will repress. Um, let's do the other side real quick. This time, less talking. Would I consider myself a dandy? So Gen X NY asks, would you consider yourself a dandy in terms of how you dress yourself or your sewing machines or my sewing methods? I consider myself along inspired by. I do not dress like this full time, mostly, but um, I do love very classic menswear. Um, a lot of times more of a Neapolitan style of menswear, which can be seen as very dandy. But also, I love to put time and energy into what I'm making. The iron that I'm using, yes, I use a Laura Star Smart Eye iron. I prefer a Hong Kong finish with making bias strips for variants with different. So I don't like making the bias, so I buy it usually. That's normally how I do it. But it does offer a really nice clean finish, so I do like that part of it. Am I adding a pocket watch to this look, or a pocket like a watch pocket? No. So the initial pattern does include a watch pocket flap, but it is a faux pocket because I'm using denim, and just due to for bulk reasons, a I'm not adding that to this pair of pants. But the pattern does have a faux one, and it's really not hard to make it into a real pocket. Not doing a full like a true welt, but you can add in a little indention, add in a facing, put in a pocket piece there, like do a pocket and then put the flap over top and make it into a real pocket if you wanted to. So I'm back using my sometimes, especially one of the things with going back to vintage, especially if you've been using modern, um, I I forget about trimming threads because I'm used to having a thread trimmers on my machines. Um, Somebody asked, that makes sense because that's a slacks pattern, not a exactly, yeah. But also, like so even with slack, there are a lot of men's slacks that are made out of denim, that are not jeans. But people like the versatility and some of the strength that you would get out of using a denim fabric. And denim really is more about the fabric than it is about anything else. But the way that we know jeans and stuff like that, that is a specific style of workwear trousers. Favorite material? Um, so I've never worked with fur or like real leather. My favorite material to use is probably Ankara. I love bright, bold colors. So as you can see, I'm literally just doing the same steps. So we are now going ahead and doing an understitch. So, and this is a 10-ounce denim from Hobby Lobby because that's all we got nowadays. Um, and it's very interesting. Um, it almost feels like a felt, or not a felt, a flannel. It's a soft, very soft, and the way that it lands, as crazy as that sound, is giving it gives a different feel. But it does have like there's a level of comfort to it. Like it almost feels like it's going to feel like a pair of pajamas when wearing it. So yeah. In my experience, people like the compression feel of denim for security, especially. Look, that's real. Hidden White created in waistband is nice too. So you have a Neomoto gravity feed iron all the way. I've had mine close to 20 years, filled with distilled water. So I do have I switched back to my Laura Star. So I've had my Laura Star probably the longest. It was gifted to me from Laura Star. I have the Smart Eye, and then I bought my own Lift Ultra. But I do also have two Neomoto irons. And like I used to have a sewing room in my basement. I'm now upstairs in another part of my house to sew in, and that is a reason that I no longer have them set up. Um, so I am thinking about redoing that, but for right now, because with the Neomoto iron, I would also want to bring up my ironing board. I have a vacuum, heat and vacuum press ironing board, and the Smart Eye has that kind of all built in for the at least for the vacuum piece down. I do miss the heat portion of my ironing board downstairs, um, but for right now, that's why I'm using the Lore Star. Um, use the paper hemming process. Oh yeah, that's a good one. And if you let's say if you did not use the paper, like paper, you can also use horsehair on the inside there. So look, this does beep and chime on me. So the Lore Star does have all the beeps and stuff like that, especially when I need to put more water or something in it. We've gotten used to each other. Only thing with the Lore Star is, of course, there's a level of prep that you need to do for your iron first. So every time that you do it, you do need to prime your iron first to release all the extra water out of the hole. So normally about 3 times. Then you can go ahead and start to press. And of course, I have all my ironing accessories, so I'm using um, my pressing board. There we go. And I don't know if I flashed for y'all because my computer just went to sleep, and I don't know why it went to sleep. So actually, what we're gonna do, because I'm gonna take it out of low power mode. Luckily, it's on the charger, so there we go. Maybe. Well, if you have questions about the Lord Star, let me know. My biggest thing is if you have gravity feed, you don't need a Lord Star. The reason that I like Lord Star is that I can bypass the turn off, like auto off feature of irons. I hate it. Y'all know me. Don't turn off my iron. I need it. And I need it when I need it. You know? So I hate when that happens. Other than that, I think it's a good iron. I think that you get it's a good product and stuff like that. So I don't have a lot of issues with my Lord Star. But it does, if you do not do like the customary 3 pumps, um, so my Euro skin tank. So yeah, no, for the tank wise, check this. Not Velocity, Reliable also has a really nice iron probably. Like you probably just need it's like a steam generator tank style iron. If you are looking for that force. I don't sometimes feel like I get the same force out of the gravity feed iron. But I don't also feel like I need it. You know? Hey, how are you? Upgrading to the larger size about the small singer presser. Okay. To start posting my make soon. I might start slow and post a wrap up of cool creations and works in progress. I'm going to show your comment for a second. We'll definitely let us know, tag us when you start posting your makes. We would love to see them and love to celebrate you. Okay. But I'm glad you're posting. Hey, B Chantel, how are you? Couldn't put it into So yes, if you are wanting the Force, so there is the Laura Star is a nice one. Then for after the Laura Star, where am I on streaming? So I'm on TikTok, I'm on Twitch, and I'm on YouTube currently. um, you know, we we're trying a little something today. So I was thinking about you still have a live on Thursday. Okay. Yeah, 'cause it feels like we ain't seen you in a bit, but I hope you're doing well, Aura or Tony. You was wondering who you was talking to. Yes, y'all know I'm on different. I'm on different platforms. We are on 3 different platforms at once currently, and especially on my YouTube, this will live. And then I had a family emergency. Oh well, definitely prayers. Um, this does live statically on my YouTube, so after this is done, this will still be on my YouTube and available. Actually, what we're gonna do is let's see. Will I be finishing this make on live today? Honestly, probably not. Close. Hopefully, I will. If I don't finish it today, this might be because usually pants are more than a 2 hour project. We have done pants in a long live. I don't know if I'm doing that today. Just honest. Um, but this is a good way for me to get work on a project. So hopefully, I want to get to because with the back wheel pockets and a zipper, I don't know. I don't know. Um, so if I can get to one back welt on camera today, because I did not get them done the way I wanted to before the week was over. So we will. Y'all might like there might be a part 2 to this tomorrow evening or something like that. And if there is, I will definitely make sure that that is known, and that will be outside of the regular schedule. But again, I will save it so that it will be available. But this is a good way for just in terms of time. And I was up here looking at my work schedule and whatever. Like going live just makes it easier to get some stuff done. So I can come out with you at 7. Are you doing pants too? Okay. Well, shoot. Say less. We'll see how much I get done with these today. No. I got to make sure I have time to go into full existential dread about going to work tomorrow. I ain't did that yet, So you got to make time for such things. All right. So this pocket is also Nice, done, and like that. So now we're going to go ahead and the same way, we will go ahead and give this we'll go ahead and base this in place. Make sure everything is laid appropriately. There we go. Pin. I did the zipper in the side pocket hard. Put it in 6 times. But you learned something. But you learned something. That's how you guys see it. And at the end of the day, you did complete it. So for that, we celebrate. Actually, sorry. Top inches. I will make sure so that we ain't losing no power over here. My bad, I'm covering y'all up because I was putting in my charger. There we go. What? Holiday tomorrow for presidents? Look, not all of us work for the government. So yeah, we're not off tomorrow. Tomorrow is a regular day for us. How about that? I'm getting in my afternoon nap. Well, enjoy your afternoon nap. Thank you so much for joining. So now we're going to do this last side. And sometimes I am thinking of where I'm going to have like issue going over something. So instead of humping over the hump of this, I decided to come down from the hump. So that's why you see me turning these pans into my machine this way as I base this in place. Because, this is a lot of layers. All right. So now we have both of our pockets in and done. Okay. So now, normally what I normally would do, and I think I am going to go ahead and do, I like to go ahead and get all pockets done first. Then I do my pockets first. Then I do my zipper. That's me. So fronts are done. Then I go ahead and do all my backs. So I'm gonna trust my first line because I don't feel like I'll be 100%. I don't feel like futzing with because I have a jean zipper. So that means it is a metal teeth zipper. Not a problem. I don't feel like doing it at the moment. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to do, no, I'm going to stick with this color thread because I don't have top stitching anywhere else. Yes. But yeah, I am going to go ahead and do my back pockets first just because that's my prerogative. And man, so the pattern would have you do finish your front as a unit, meaning that you would do your all your pleats, you will put in your pockets, then you will put in your zipper. Then you will go to the back. Normally, I like to do all my pockets first and have all my components done. Then I go ahead and start putting the stuff together to make pants. So front pockets get done first, then back pockets. Then I go ahead and do the rest. That is my MO when I make pants. Now, so let's go ahead and do this back weld. All right. So now, and I do my welts a little bit differently than a lot of people. Okay. So I normally sew my welts from the back of a project and not from the front. So the reason that I go ahead and make marks of where my welt is and stuff like that is because I like to sew it from this side so that I'm making sure that I'm on the line. Now, to also do that, I've gone ahead and I've sewn. There is a line of, like, I traced out the outline for the welt in stitch. So that's already done. Now, if I was doing this out of a self-facing fabric, so if I were using denim for this whole thing, normally what I would do is the next layer I would put down is a layer of interfacing. And then I like to do a what is called a pocket stay. I learned that from a lot of your knit garments. That pocket stay helps to make sure that everything lays flat because you are basically providing an extra level layer of structure so that your pocket does not turn into a smiley face or does not turn into a hole unless you want it to. Okay, so but because instead of doing that, I am using different level of fabric. We're going to kind of do this a little bit more traditional. So we're going to take our welt and we're going to lay that down. I'm going to cut down some of the seam allowance a little bit on the welt along the non-folded edge. I'm going to find the center of my welt. Make a little snip. Hey Tony, how are you? Look, right? Look, yeah, we understand each other on these welts. I tell you. Okay, so and then from the back side, I'm going to put in a pin where my welt is. And by sewing it from this side, it basically, the way I say it is that it provides just a layer of insurance of that you will mess up less because I know exactly where I'm able to sew and I'm able to put in notes and markings. Before the look, it for me it makes sense. It basically, like, I have all my other little pieces done first and then I can go ahead and easily just whip up the rest of the garment. Okay, so now what they will have you do here is they will have you go ahead and baste your welt in place. I ain't doing that. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and take my pocket piece and we are going to lay this down right over top of that welt piece. This will not be a double welt. This is a single welt pocket. I'll do it just like this. And then I'm going to readjust my pins to make sure I'm also catching the pocket piece as well. And I have it just lined up with the welt. Again, this is not my normal way of doing a welt pocket, but I can be obedient and listen. And actually, hold on, I'm going to take this out just a tad bit, just because I want to make sure that I am within a little bit of that pocket piece is going to be used in making sure that I can fold under my the top piece of my welt. Hey Nina, how are you? I love that Shamir just hopping from place to place. You better hop. She hopping like she up here going to everybody's house on a family holiday to get her plate. Hey, Miss Carol, are you sewing your outfit, or are you still working on whips over there? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We want to know. Mm-hmm. All right. So, and with the reason I like to do that. So when you are working on a welt pocket, this is not one of those. Child, it is. We at mid-month and you just started month. Jesus, I need to see finished pieces. We at mid-month and got 3 pieces to make, and we starting on muslin. As you up here finishing whips today. A whip is not the project at hand. But that's okay. I mean, we know there's gonna be an excellence. It's all good. Are you off tomorrow? Okay. So I guess my job just ain't get the memo. That folks is off tomorrow because we sure enough ain't. They say y'all behinds gotta go into the I like let's be real. We know how this works. We probably gonna get an extension. Cause ask me, have I even finished cutting out the jacket yet? Let's be real. The jacket is not finished. Like I have not finished cutting out my jacket. Why? I don't know. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of like moving parts and pieces, and I just have not. That has not been completed yet. I want to check something real quick. So yeah, we done got off somewhere. So I was feeling like my whelp was going wayward. So we're gonna check on this real quick. Come on, Shamir. Shamir joining. All right. Tomorrow is President's Day, supposedly. I don't know what president we celebrating, but supposedly. Who knew? Do I use a? Somebody asked. Do I? Daily Sunshine asked on TikTok. Do I use scissors or rotary cutter? So I use both, depending on the piece. I also have electric rotary cutters at my discretion as well. No, this is off. So so we're about to pull out my. I don't like where this landed. So we're using our scalpel as a way to remove our stitches. Normally I do it going down instead of going up, but because of the way that I currently have this in my hands, this is easier to do for me. Just providing that disclaimer for folks. As you see me do this, I also have been one of those people that just use a plain razor blade at my discretion. You can get this by like the 10 pack on yes, so normally that is my preferred method to do the pocket bag to make the welt. But because of me using muslin for my pocket bag and not the actual self-facing fabric, that's the reason I did not do that today. So we're going to repin this and figure out where haywire. Yeah, I just didn't feel like my welt was welting where I wanted it to welt. And there we go. Yes, we can celebrate President Obama on tomorrow. Never tried it, but I thought it would. So yeah, if you are doing, especially if you are doing, instead of using like a lining fabric and using a self fabric, that's what makes it easier. Now, you can still do it on a fabric like a lining fabric compared to a facing fabric. Normally, what I would normally then do in that case is I would like put the lining in, and then I would applicate on the fabric that you're going to use for the for the actual welt. So we learned our lesson. We're gonna base this in place because that was just stupid, and I don't like the way it did. So we're going to go ahead and lay a line of basting down. Lay a line of basting down, and I am not. Feels feels better. Line of basting done. Somebody was talking about Threads magazine. I'll need to switch to TikTok. Okay. All right. So that is on. All right. So now we're going to try to put on our pocket again. We're trying to sew. I try to make sure that it's above where I need it to be for, so I can have something to turn in on for the actual um, top of my welt. Do it again. And then people over on TikTok, they're currently talking about um, self, self well pockets. Your pocket bag has to be fat. Exactly. So when it's a fashion fabric for that, I do it that way. Coffee, I tell you, and that is still my morning coffee because we ain't finished. Yeah. It's funny as that was my coworker saying that we are all not ready for the work week ahead. Right? So that's one line of stitching. We're going to go ahead and do our second line of stitching right on our top line. And I always go ahead and drop my needle in. What's great about this, so now normally for a lot of welt pockets, if I'm doing like a self welt, I would finish the whole box. For this style of welt, you are just doing the two lines of stitching. I think we got a little bit off, but I think yeah, it should be okay. If we're not, I can always make the pocket shorter. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and cut open our welt. Thank you so much for the gift. Had to debone a chicken. Did the pattern include waist darts above the belt, welted pockets, and button tabs? So no, this does not include button tabs. It does include back waist darts. Um, hey, Style So Me. This is but it does include back welted pockets. That's what I'm working on now. And then it also includes this is like, so this doesn't have belt loops and stuff like that because it says a Gurkha style waistband. Oh, child, I didn't even see it. My bad. And as you can see, I am slowly. Normally, in a fabric like this, you would not do a like. It's you can easily do a well pocket within whatever fabric, but of course, you are adding more bulk when you are doing it in a fabric like a fabric this heavy with this many layers. So that is something to be aware of. Just a second. Somebody just called me. See, that is good live etiquette when it's so when you forget to put your phone on proper do not disturb. I like to send a text or something. Yes, so this does have that slight dip in the middle of the road. It does have that. All right. So now let's go ahead and we're gonna give this a good press. So we're gonna take this over to the arm. Let my arm make sure it's nice and warm. Oh, excuse me. Out. Light over here. We can take the TikTok people get to come over because y'all, other people, y'all all over there. On a pocket stay, yeah. So if you actually, every time I do a live where I do one of my like mid pair of pants and stuff like that, I think I've shown a pocket stay. Or my other patterns that show well, most of those are good. So yeah, I'm on um currently I'm on, so you're seeing me on TikTok. I'm also on YouTube and on Twitch. Simultaneously going live. So Now we're back over here. And y'all up there. Bring y'all back to here. I love when my thing just decides that it wants to. I don't know why it named that machine cam, and that's me, but what else? Where's my chat? There you go. Am I pressing over a ham? I usually, right now, no. Do I have one? Yes. Can I find it at the moment while I'm live? No. So yes, I am not. That would normally be what I'm doing to press over a ham, but I would do that in my final pressing. Right now, as I'm doing the pocket flat, we're doing the pocket flat. Okay. All right. So now, so I can show y'all what we're about to have and look like. This is what the pocket is giving back. We're on the front. So now I have to close these bars for, because of the way this pocket is done, I do not need to go ahead and do a line of stitching at this bottom line of the fabric because basically that's already done. So what I am going to go ahead and do is close off my side bars, probably do a little bit of a line of stitching right along this top line. I like to do that so that I'm making sure that my pocket is not getting stretched out. But we're going to start with our side bars. Once that is done, I will go ahead and we are going to probably finish this pocket off the way I finished off the other pockets. So that's why I'm making sure not to go all the way to the edge, and then we'll just use a little bias on the sides. So, and because the way I'm seeing this fabric go, I'm going to do a line of zigzagging to finish off the sides of my pocket. So we're not doing a huge zigzag, just, and we're doing it at a very small little seam allowance with, and lining up the center of my bar right with the center of the fabric. No, it's not. Well, when you are doing a single machine challenge, sometimes you gotta do everything that you can just so that you can do a single fabric or a single machine. Make sure I'm pulling in all of this extra little fabric here so that you are not seeing your lining fabric from the outside. There you go, just like that. The same thing on this side, and I'll show y'all what it gives. And especially, I don't feel crazy doing that on this fabric because the top stitching basically feels like it matches the actual fabric of the pants. There you go. What machine are you using? Are you going to use the Juki? Okay. All right. So I went ahead and did 2 bars along that. This is what the inside of the pocket looks like. So now what I am going to go ahead and do is we're going to do, I'm a person, I like to do a lot of, well, and here, honestly, it doesn't need it. The way that it's working, it's fine. Okay. I am going to, and I'm not going to base this yet. We're going to go ahead and do the bias binding. But first we're going to sew the pockets together. Down the side. crooked in my pocket, so we are making up for some of that. This on one side, and then we'll do the other side real quick. Ooh. And this is more as just all right. So we have our main part of the pocket in. So now we're going to go ahead and bind it. What do I do with the binding? Oh, it fell down. So. And what I like to do is I'm using so I have Roberto. I have a digital copy of the women's book. I do have the men's book, and I also have volume 2 of the men's book, or the second edition of it. I have both of them. But sometimes, we are vibe sewing today, so this is definitely not using things that I learned from that book. But I think sometimes, people need to see that you can, especially when sewing for yourself, you can make it work. And, this is more about a little bit of Julia Child's moments of, you just rolling with it. Because literally, as I think about how I'm finishing the inside of those pants and stuff like that, I still ain't fully decided how. So I'm gonna cut off that so that I can then turn this edge in. But y'all remember this as we up here showing our mates and stuff for the project. That all of my insides and stuff is pretty too. For the challenge. Cause I don't see Carmen and them doing this. And again, remember, this is not me following proper procedure in how you bind stuff. But it's bound together. Okay. I'm gonna do the other side real quick. And what I will say is that especially I maintain different techniques. Even I do like some of the and then here Carmen goes saying her inside's just fine. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. We should get extra points or something for a little razzmatazz. No play. It's all good. Mm-hmm. She heard her name and she came back up in them comments real quick, didn't she, y'all? Mm-hmm. She did. She did. She did. Did everyone have a good Valentine's Day? So I went so I had Korean barbecue for the first time yesterday. It was cool. Besides burning the dog crap out of my mouth, I mean, I burned my mouth all the way up. That was not to the point I had a blister on the inside of my mouth, but it was good. I guess my hot pot got a little too hot. Hey, Anna, how are you? While driving with Julian Bacon Carmen. um, but it was good. I had it was a kimchi broth, and yep, that shit burned my mouth. But yeah, it was a really nice time. Definitely unexpected. Oh, his her. That's cute. That sounds fun. His her garden gnomes. All right. So we now have that all bound together, both sides. We are now going to do a line of top stitching. So I did. I mean, I spent most when I got home and stuff like that. That's what I did most of the days. I was prepping for this today. So, which was cool. Sometimes, took a little break. Had to go get some. Had to go, buy some supplies. Reminded myself that I didn't make a one-wipe order when I needed to. But beyond that, right. So have one pocket done. Digging up for it or whatnot. On the inside, this is what it's giving. Okay. So let's do the other ones real quick. Let's talk in this time. And then if I get the zipper, we'll get the zipper. I mean, we still got time. Well, yeah, we're only an hour and a half in. And just think, so I mean, in the way that I like to do it in things. So basically, once your pockets, like I always think of it as your challenging pieces, or where you might get like where there might be not struggle, but like where is the skill levels of pants making or any project. Normally, that comes in your pockets and closures for myself. That requires me to have the most time and ingenuity. So I like to make sure that like my pocket stuff are done. Pockets first, that's usually easier. Well, pockets, I'm like, okay, we're going up. And then when you're starting to add the zipper, because of top stitching and making sure that you are missing zipper stop. Those are normally like the ones like, okay, once those things are going, then it's just in seam legs, side seams, crotch. Like it's those type of things that goes fast. This one, it might go a bit longer because again, we also are working on finishing the inside of the pants. So probably once I'm done here, I need to at least go and do a zigzag on the pieces because I never did that. So we will see if we get to that. But yeah. Yeah. Because I still don't feel like doing a zipper today. Just saying. The idea of a zipper, it ain't hitting yet. Y'all ever had them days? The idea of just putting in a zipper, I'm like, I don't want to. I am going ahead and I am trimming down my welt. And again, I have all the pieces done to put the zipper in. That's the thing. The pieces are done to put the zipper in. I just don't feel like it. I really don't. Exactly. Find somebody else to do it. And depending on what pattern, they've changed how they put the like zipper insertions for a while. They changed it, and they started. And I realized that they did a different zipper insertion for men's patterns compared to women's, and they were using a women's line of instructions for mine's while. And I'm like, I don't know how to do it this way because I've been doing zippers. Exactly. See, it be that zipper, and I don't feel like doing a zipper today. Um, oh, Carmen, Miss Erica is calling you out on YouTube. It does. Zippers do take twice long on live. It does. It does. It's like that's one of those things like you just want to be quiet and just like look on the inside and try to figure out. Um, but yes. So now what we're doing again is we're starting with that line of basting along the the welt piece. Again, normally this is not how I do it, but it works this time. So because I wanted to make sure that it matches. So time. Ooh, to lock that in place. That's the same way I feel about putting in like welts and stuff like that. It would take me so much longer, or it does usually take me a bit longer to do it like in, on live. So we have that in place. So now we're going to take our pocket piece over top. Well, thank you so much for the blessings and the prayer. Same to you. Second cam is gone. Oh, it is. My bad. Luckily, second cam is just my face, and y'all can still hear me. That's the most important part. But thank you so much for for letting me know. I don't know why it keeps on doing that. Anything to control your. Yeah. I don't know why it keeps on doing that, but yeah. Luckily, I mean, it still works. I, one of the things I love a Yeti cup. These have been my. So here's my thing. Like it, there is. Um, I like the Yetis because of the handle. I don't like the thick handles of Stanleys. So I have Yetis, and um, there's another brand of cup that also has a similar style of handle, and they're washable. and like dishwashable. Don't know why, but yeah, that is my thing. Sabs, and I appreciate you. Thank you for being on every platform. We appreciate it, especially like um, I have not used my Twitch in a long time, but I think now that I have a different camera setup, I guess question. And I'm doing a poll or anything like that. Do y'all like this camera setup? Can I get some thumbs up in the chats if y'all like the camera setup for those on Twitch and YouTube, because TikTok don't see it. TikTok could see it if I paid more money and could go live on multiple platforms. But you know, we gotta be until this makes money. I can't be spending a lot of money on the apps. You didn't find them as leak proof. So for me, which one? Like you didn't find the Yetis as leak proof? I like that I have different like cup options, and I can't say that my Stanley was all that leak proof either. So, well, cool. Thank y'all so much for liking that. This works. What also could help is let me try something real quick. We're gonna move this up like that, and then we're going to turn you down slightly like that. Voila! So that my hand doesn't feel like it's in the way. Still see my hand, but I'm actually probably no. There we go. Wow. Now it's in the way of my over here, but y'all okay. Or actually, what I would do for y'all, we're just going to take y'all up the wall a little bit. So what's fun is that I have put in metal, like a metal pegboard. So literally, my iPad is basically in a magnetic case, and it's sitting on magnets. Also, while I am doing this, so Sandy, yes, I am live on 3 platforms currently. I'm on YouTube. Um, I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitch, and I'm on TikTok. So it might be blurry at the moment, just due to it's not blurry on my end, but it might be my connection, and I can't help that. So hopefully it will de-blur. So yes, I'm talking to multiple platforms, so please don't think that I just got some type of we have I have special friends or something I'm talking to as well. So yeah, I am Julian Creates on all platforms. If you want to find me over there. Go. All right, so now let's open this one up. This is where having a nice pair of covered handle for your scissors does help in making sure that you can easily cut into belt pocket, and you're gonna cut. I like to sometimes get my face into it so I can cut to the stitching, not through the stitching, on either side. So we're going to, not through. And this is where it's also important to have nice pointy, like it's interesting, especially as we're doing the sewing machine challenge. A lot of times we spend a lot of money on the machine itself when really money should be going towards other tools. So sometimes people will buy thousands of dollars on a sewing machine and still use a more inexpensive iron. Now, no, any tool you can make work. But if you are thinking of, oh, this is going to make my process better, there are certain pieces that you should invest the money into. I think I can do the same thing with this as I can with some of my more expensive machines. Honestly, for garment sewing, I will put more money into an iron that I know gets hot enough. Because a lot of your modern irons do not get as hot as needed. Okay. So the reason that people aren't scorching fabrics and stuff anymore is because irons have decreased in temperature. But that also means that, especially if you're looking for a crisp press, it's not going to give you that. So I will put more money into my shears. I will put more money into my iron. Put more money into like my clappers and my hams and stuff like that. And the ham that I currently have, and I need to find it. It's in here somewhere. Is from Spain. It's a larger ham, and then I also have a bus ham, because that's important too to have for different shaping. I have the sleeve boards and stuff like that. Those things are sometimes good silk organza press cloths. Those things are sometimes more valuable to spend money on. And good now, no, I say good shears, but these shears came from Temu. I will tell you that. Me and Temu for certain sewing supplies has not been bad. Now, the one thing I realized that I would never buy from Temu again, or that I did not find to be beneficial for me, needles. Needles did not seem to do it, but a lot of my scissors that I'm currently using right now are Temu. Yeah, these are Temu. These are Temu. These are Temu. Came in a pack of 20. This is Temu. Like those type of things. You know, you can get a nice pair of scissors and not pay a lot of money for them. But it is important to have something that you can easily like get a good grip on, has a good amount of weight, especially depending on the fabric and stuff that you are trying to sew with. All right, so let me take this back over to the iron, and we're going to press this on out. See my behind. Hold on. I somehow or another done got hot. Y'all wait, because my head was something. The one him up, and I don't know where it went to. Or it's just I have different things over here. It's probably over here somewhere. So this is another something to invest in. So this is one of the investing tools. Hold on. I don't know why that stopped. We're gonna do it that way for a second. There we go. This is one of the tools that I say invest in. So um this is my ham. So this is from Eometric from Spain, or made in Japan, but um it's a Spanish company, but it's made in Japan. Look at the size. So look at the size of this ham. This is a very nice, heavy ham that they had to ship to me internationally before we start getting crazy tariffs. I find that like having this does make my process easier. If I don't use my ham, what I am using usually is I'm using my sleeve board also. So, and I will take y'all with me over here so that we can then press this button. Oh yes, a needleboard is a good thing to have as well. I've never worked with a lot of velvet. I shy away from it, but that would be the first thing. Like before I buy expensive like silk velvet from like Silk Baron or Dharma Trading, it will be a very nice needleboard. What you're not about to do is have me out here working with velvet and me jack it up. I would be pissed. But Wawa does sell things like the needle boards and stuff like that, so that which does make the process a lot easier. There it is. Where is it stuck at? Okay. You gotta work on it. Work on it and work with it. Yes, they are. Those needle boards are very spinny. Very spinny. Okay. And we're taking our press stick. This one I got from Lynn. It's on adaptive. And I love that it's a longer size, so it's perfect for your. You can use that as a like to press some of your seams over and stuff like that as well as me as you need to. Right, so then what I'm going to do, go ahead and zigzag those corners again. So I've never tried the Guggenheim shears. Usually for shears, I have Kai shears. I've heard good things about the Guggenheims. Also, um, what else do I have? I've heard good things about LDH. But I have like for my like spendy scissors, they normally do not come into here. They stay on the cutting table. Those are my Kais. Um, I have 11-inch tailoring shears from Kai. Are the pro level. I think they were like $89 when I bought them from a expo. And They do not cause a lot of fatigue to the hands. They are a good weight without being too heavy. They are some of my favorite shears, and I want to get more sizes of them. But these other ones, like where those were like $80, $90, these were like maybe 10 or 11, and they have done me well as well. So I can't complain about that. So now we're going to do the same thing over here with the close up our corners. Oh, I did not know that the loop behind pointed to pointy for. That's good to know though. Shoot. Well, shoot, that's probably what I need then, because I want like I saw another. These are like the Chinese scissors. I love these style of scissors. I have dulled the points of these already. I need to get a new pair. Bye, D. Kai does have rotary blades as well. They do. You do see them less, but they do have them. I actually have, a pair of the Kai rotary blades. Now that I think about it. What? Is this gonna bother me until this lane, right? This lane on a lot of. Now, you know, sometimes you gotta get the pocket where you want the pocket. And then one side down. Because I'm like, how long is this music gonna last? There we go. So I don't know what happened over here, y'all. I do apologize for the loss in connection, but we are back. Here we go. So maybe that's what's happening. So it sometimes the connection is keeps on going out. So, but we back. Cool. So now we're gonna do this other side real quick. This is the same song. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Especially when you make a lot of men's pants, you get used to making well pockets. So, um, meaning that you make a lot of them. And when you make a lot of well pockets, you gotta do a lot of well pockets. Of course, giving this another press will help, but What is also is that it has that facing piece on the inside, so that matches the welt. So any spacing and stuff like that can all be covered up in that. And I push up my lining fabric a little bit more. So basically, my lining fabric, because it comes up so high, it's also acting as a step. So that means that helps to make sure that all of this is turned back in like a nice amount. So that it's not like sometimes it feels like you only got like you're only working off that small little edge, and you need a little bit more to really wrap it around. So a lot of times, what I'll do is I will cut my pocket bags longer and do that part first, then add in my pocket facing on the bottom to where I want it to be. So I will always use the markings of the actual as I'm doing all markings and stuff. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and close up the side of the pocket, and then we're going to bind it. Why do you? I tell you. I don't know why I keeps on wanting to change over my pocket view. I be looking at you. I be talking to y'all over here, but it keep on wanting to change y'all. But luckily, the big things of the pattern are basically complete for the main things. The next piece is going to be the zipper, which honestly, I think I'm not doing that today. The Lord's telling me if I keep on saying I don't want to do it, it must be professionalism like this without using superfan. Not saying that it's not cool. Well, I definitely appreciate it, and that's so we are doing a challenge with Black Sewing Network. It's a sewing machine challenge. So each of us is using one single machine for a entire project. So I'm using a vintage machine. Miss Carol is using a Janome Memory Craft 15,000. We have Sean who's using like a Shark, like one of those little mini Shark travel machines. You have Carmen is using like a Singer Talent, I think. Um, you have, I think, like everybody's just using one single machine to do their entire project on. And again, we always have to remember that the magic is never in the machine; it's always in the person behind it. And especially for garment sewing, it ain't much you need. So, and on I started on vintage machines. They are my first loves. Do I have the expensive machines as well? Yes. I This came from my collection. I have over I think we're at 84, 80, between 84 and 86 machines in my collection. So this is one of my favorites in my collection. But I love it because it works and because it is simple. You can do so many things on this machine that I need. Like I can make a shirt, I can do whatever I want to with just this machine and be fine. And I think people need just to have that realization that you don't need to have the machine is nice to have. The magic is always in you. Instead of spending $11,000 sometimes on a machine, get a machine that you know that you would like to work with. Like, so there are some parameters that I'm looking for in a machine that I like to use. I like to make sure that a machine does not feel too mechanical. or too computerized. So there are a lot of your modern machines. It feels like everything is by computer. I do have a Juki. I have modern. I have currently have one modern Juki. Yeah, in my collection. Um, but yeah, so I like a machine that does not feel too computerized. Like I don't want to feel like I can't feel like it feels like I'm sewing through a computer and not me sewing. I don't like that. So the reason I'm not a fan of modern Husqvarna or FOF machines is because, like, well, especially with Husqvarna, they don't have a knee lift, and everything is push button for your presser foot, like to lift and raise your presser foot. If I'm sewing on buttons, that does not work. I usually always end up cracking the buttons because it comes down so hard. That's I don't have control over that. I like to use Bernina's because while it does have the computerized mechanism, it still feels like I'm using a mechanical machine. It feels like a mechanical machine with a computer, not a computerized machine. There is a difference, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. So like that is something that I find to be very important to me when I'm sewing. Um, but you don't need, again, spending on your shears, spending more of a on your iron and stuff like that. Spend money there, making sure that you're getting something comparable to the machine that you have. Don't have $1 million machine and buy your iron from Family Dollar. Um, get like and I'm not saying that you need to spend $400 or $500 on an iron, but a nice Rowenta, a nice even like an old school Black and Decker, the traditional Black and Deckers like are $40. They will. That's a nice iron, and it has a nice amount of weight to it. I have expensive irons. I have expensive machines. That works for me and what I want to do. And sometimes I will buy something instead of going to therapy. So there's that. That's my disclaimer. But yeah, like especially if you've been doing this for a while and you're looking to invest in your hobby or something like that, if you have a machine, if your machine is working and you are not like now, if you are using a mini machine to build a ball gown on it, that might be like it might be time for you to invest in a machine. But a lot of times you don't need to. And if you're thinking of an industrial machine does one thing, just one thing. It does a straight stitch usually, and does it well. And you don't usually have to go about replacing an industrial machine. Quick question: Bernina Deco 650 missing a foot pedal, hoop, and other pieces. Where can I get them? Check on Sewing Parts Online. That's where I would check first. And then also for you can go ahead and just do a Google search for your machine. I love Bernina. I'm going to get a U790 Plus in a few days. Congratulations. So I don't have a 790 Plus. I have a 750 QE, and then I also have a that's my 7 series, and I have a few 8 series machines. Um, and sadly, we got issues with the 8 series right now. That we are working through, that I am working through, but is not worked fully through yet. And it got me in my feelings about that. But yes, definitely congratulations on the 790 Plus. You will enjoy that machine. So now we're gonna go ahead and bind this. So my plan probably what we're gonna do is I'm gonna bind this now, and I might start doing the side, like start kind of like making sure that some of my sides are ready to go for putting together as full pants, and we're gonna call it a day. So y'all probably got me for a good another 20-30 minutes, and then that will be it. But I want to say thank y'all so much for joining me for this. And also, what machine questions do y'all have? If y'all did not know, I love machines. I know a lot about machines. I know a lot about machine history. So if you have machine questions, this is the perfect time to ask them. Um, Around, I know, of course, I know Bernina machines, I know Burnett machines, but I also know pretty much all the brands. So feel free to ask me about new machines or vintage machines. And honestly, that's what I should do more in my lives. Is just doing like, hey, ask me anything sewing machine related, and I will geek out for y'all on my knowledge of sewing machines. Now, do I know everything? No. Like Mr. Gurr, who was in here a little bit earlier, he probably knows more than I do. Um, but there's a community of people, but we can get your questions answered. You know. And when you look for a new sewing machine, what do you look for in your machines? Is there anything that you like? Oh, I need to make sure that a machine does this for me. Okay, one side down. Well, I'm glad that you helped. How's your surgery going? What do you use your cording foot for on your serger? So I use my cording foot on my serger, or the piping foot. I use it for usually sewing on a zipper. If you have the right size piping foot or cording foot, you can sew on a zipper easily, um, on a sewing machine. So Kay asked me, "What is my favorite machine?" That's asking me, "What is my favorite child?" Probably. um, so there are some machines, like there's one machine in my collection that I've never used, but I will never get rid of. It is actually my grandmother's machine. So I have her. She has a Singer 99. I think it's a Singer 99 from 1937, which was around the time that she got married. Um, and so I have that machine. It is in my basement, um, wrapped up. The last time it turns on, and I like it's usable, but I don't use it. But just like, so she died when I was 11 or 12, and before that, she gave me her sewing machines because she knew I would be interested in it. We had conversations about it. And later on, she gave me like her sewing machines and stuff like that. So, yeah. So that is something. That was probably one of my favorite machines. Outside of that, I love my Morse. I love my Montgomery Ward 15 clone. That's probably the machine I really started on. I love that machine. Um, then the machines I brought out, so the Bernina L860, the Burnett B68. I do the machine I use most often nowadays. The machine that I use probably most often now is my Burnett B79. I think for what you get for the money, it's in a price that's accessible to a lot of people. I really enjoy that machine for the price. Um, is it a Bernina? No, but for Burnett, um, you get some really high quality features without having to fully invest in the full Bernina ecosystem. So, but thank you for the question. But also, like for a lot of people who are starting brand new, yeah, I do love a knee lift and a thread cutter. Like those are my favorite. Like of modern machines, those are the things I will not buy in a new machine. Vintage machines, I can deal with, even though there are vintage machines that have that knee lift feature. So a lot of like my old school Berninas, they do have that knee lift. That's why I also like my Berninas. That's a different class. Like those are the machines that I own the most of, and the machines that I love. I love my Berninas. Um, the 1000 series, I love. I love my 840 favorite. Um, Probably more than a record. So there is a $200 mechanical Janome with a front under needle plate bobbin load, like the old but trusty. I do not like top load bobbin cases. A lot of people don't like the top load bobbins. So there are a lot of your Um, More entry level cost machines do still have like your traditional bobbin case and bobbin, including like the Janome. I know there's a Janome right now that is a Bridgerton Janome. I do love. It still feels a little bit more plasticky to me, and I like a heft of machines, and I like metal machines. So like that one that like I will, instead of buying that, I will, because I have been sewing, I will get a used 1000 series machine from Bernina. That's me. So, or even like I like a good 3 series Bernina, a good 5 series Bernina, or something like that. Even an old school one. We'll have that old school bobbin, like a regular bobbin, something that you do not find it as much anymore. Uh-oh. We done got unthreaded. Let me thread up my stuff again. And then, shoot. I'm trying to find. I would love to do more of the history of the thread cutter. Like, when did that come out in machines? I think the earliest machine I've seen it in is one of the late '90s Fox. I think had a thread cutter, but I can't pinpoint when they started doing that. It was like late '90s, early 2000s. I think one of their models had a thread cutter. I'm just curious, like, when did that become a feature in machines? I know that probably it was the Activa models of Bernina is when you probably started to see them on those. Um, but yeah, I'm just so curious about that. All right, so we have done all of the stitching. So we did our pockets. What I'm now going to go ahead and do is I'm still trying to figure out how I want to finish up like the edges of the inside of my pants, especially like your crotch seam and stuff like that. And I want to do that before I do the zipper and start putting the pants together. So we have all the like we have the legs done and all the pockets in. Um, but how I want to finish it, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to decide. Normally, what I would do is I would just do it on a serger and run it through. So, Miss Rice, I will tell you, I hate I hate flat fill. I hate them with a passion. Don't ask me why. We don't get along. Have never gotten along. They are like my least favorite. Normally, what I would do is I would do a faux flat filled, where I would. Well, no, it's still a real flat filled. Essentially, I will sew it down and then fold over one side, like trim down and fold. It feels fiddly to me. It's just not my favorite to do. Um, And so I was thinking about, and normally with pants and stuff like that, I like to press my seams outward. So I finish either side so that I have that ability to get a good press. So I'm now trying to decide what I want to do for this. And I don't know yet. So that's what I need to figure out. I'm glad. If a real tailor don't like them either, I'm like, I don't feel so bad. They're just my least favorite seam finish. They are the bane of my existence. I hate them. So yeah, I'm going to. That's what I plan to probably. I'm about to probably stop here so I can noodle on that to figure out how I want to do that. So if the offer still stands, Shamir, I will jump on live with you tomorrow. Um, to work on these, and or I will probably do more videoing of this process. So, Shamir, offline, I will talk to you so that to see what do you want to do it on my stuff or yours, how many cameras and all that other good stuff. We can, yeah, we'll chat about it. Because if we do it on mine with Restream, I can make sure your channel can show up as well, and you can put your stuff there too. We'll talk about it. So yeah, y'all. But thank y'all so much for joining me. I hope y'all have enjoyed this live. Thank y'all so much on all the platforms, because we got probably a good 23 or over here and another 14, 15 over here. So I appreciate y'all. And continue to definitely make sure you're checking out all the members of Black Sewing Network who are part of this Black History Month Sewing Style Challenge or Sewing Machine Battle. We are all enjoying one another, enjoying trash talking each other. No, it's all in good fun. No, it's nothing but love. And this is like more of a friendly rivalry than anything. We're not winning anything. The people who we hope are winning are the designers that we're highlighting. And people knowing that there's community that they can engage in, especially in a crazy world like this. We need each other now more than ever. Check on your peoples. Check on your sewing people. Check on the people in Minneapolis. Check on your friends. Make sure that you are doing the work to be a good neighbor. We ain't watch Mr. Rogers for nothing. Take his lessons. Make sure you're taking them and you're applying them. Okay? Check on your peoples. Ask if they drank their water today. All that good stuff. But until next time, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining me. And I will see y'all sometime tomorrow with an update. More will be done. So I'll talk to y'all later. Thank y'all so much for joining me.